it's not all butterflies and rainbows when you're in a long distance relationship. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy that you're back for a new video. Today's video is about a little bit of a more serious topic, and I want to discuss with you if a long distance relationship is bad for your mental health and my experience with that and what I do when I feel down. So I've had to deal with my share of mental health issues in the past, and it's still something that I need to be aware of every single day so that I don't fall back into old patterns and fall back into my mental health issues. And mental health isn't something that I thought of when I got into a long distance relationship, but it has definitely brought new challenges and new thoughts that I've had to deal with, and that's what I wanted to share with you in this video, like the difficulties that I've had and how I overcome that. And I want to make this video because I feel like mental health is something that we all need to be aware of, especially in today's society where I feel like we're all overworked and anxious and depressed, whether that's because of all the technology or because of the food that we eat or whatever the reason behind it. I feel like more and more people have to deal with mental health issues. So it's really important that we're aware of that and that we know how to deal with them, you know? And I also want to point out here that if you have any issues that you think are serious and that you feel like you might need to talk to someone professional about it, there's absolutely no shame in talking to someone, and I feel like it's very wise to do so because it shows that you have the courage to get help and get better. So I'm gonna leave a few links in the description so that you can talk to someone if you need the help. Okay, so what are some challenges I had to face since getting into a long distance relationship? So one of the things that I've noticed is that since being in a long distance relationship, I have a tendency to count down the days. And I've always kind of had that tendency, but it's never been this intense. And for me, that is an issue because it makes me project into the future and forget about the present moment. And that makes me feel unanchored and unsatisfied and sad and depressed sometimes and anxious even, because I keep thinking about the future and then the future gets here and I keep thinking about the future, you know what I mean? And I never stop and think about the present. If I'm not aware of my thoughts, then I'm always like rushing to the next thing and I'm never actually like happy. I never feel satisfied and happy. So that's definitely something that I've had to be aware of, and I still need to be aware of like every single day, to not count down the days and to be present in the moment and be thankful for today and what the day has to bring and not constantly be in the future with my thoughts. And a little later in the video, I'm going to share all the things that help me when I feel like I'm not anchored or I feel like I'm slipping back into old habits of mental health issue days. So stay tuned for the solutions at the end. Another issue that I've had to deal with is feeling anxious when I think about the future. And what I mean by that is when you are in a long distance relationship, eventually you're going to want to move in with your partner. And by definition, since it's a long distance relationship, one of you will have to move. So that's one of the things that I think about. Who's gonna move? Where are we gonna move? Are we gonna move in my partner's country or are we gonna move into my country? But then I start feeling bad because I don't want him to make that sacrifice. But then I think that I might not want to make that sacrifice either. And it's just like it takes over my thoughts. And another thing in the near future, like how am I going to afford the flights to see my partner, and when am I going to have time to see him with all the other things that I have going on, and just in general, like how is everything going to work out? Are we even going to be together? And like what's gonna happen, and you know, just all these thoughts that make me feel really, really anxious. Just talking about it makes me feel really anxious. But yeah, just these thoughts that build up and they feel like a mountain above my head that's gonna crush me eventually. So yeah, that's another issue that I've had to deal with. Something that isn't really a mental health issue per se, but that I've also had to kind of deal with is feeling sad when I experience nice moments and my partner isn't there to share those with me. It's not the same if your partner is there or if it's just you telling your partner about it. And another thing that isn't really mental health, but that's still kind of an issue that you need to be aware of, is that when you see other couples and they hug or they kiss or they just hold hands, it can make you feel angry, it can make you feel frustrated or sad, because it makes you realize that your partner isn't there, and then it gets the cycle back of how are we gonna do this, are we even gonna be together, and blah 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 blah. So that's some of the issues that I've had to deal with, but I've also found ways to deal with those feelings. And that's what I want to share with you now. So the one thing that seems to help me deal with these feelings is focusing on the present and anchoring my mind into the now to prevent it to go into the future. So something that always helps me when I'm feeling sad or down is to stop looking at my phone, like stop looking at it altogether. Sometimes I even delete like social media apps and stuff and doing other things without looking at my phone, even leaving my phone at home, just making a conscious effort not to look at it, that always helps me. So something else that helps me focus on the present and just get my thoughts organized and stop swirling around is to write into a journal. So sometimes I write how I'm feeling or what happened that day or what I'm thinking about, what I'm worried about, and I just write everything down. And for some reason, getting my thoughts onto paper helps me like relax and breathe again and just be able to focus on something else and just feel more relaxed and anchored in the present. Another thing that always makes me feel better is reading. I love reading, and I feel better on days that I read. I really notice that whenever I don't read, I feel less satisfied and less relaxed, and just, I don't know, something's missing in my day. So I really enjoy just reading a chapter in the morning or a chapter at night or during the day. Like whenever I can squeeze in reading, I do it because it just makes me feel a lot better altogether. So this next thing that I do is kind of something that you need to find a balance, but that is focusing on my work or on my studying. And when I'm feeling anxious or depressed or whatever, focusing on something else helps. And sometimes working or studying helps, but it doesn't always help. So this one's kind of like an in the moment decision, and if it doesn't help, then stop doing it. But like sometimes just like when you're in the zone and you focus on your studying or on your work and you're really efficient, that's always something that makes me feel better. Another thing that I like to do is spending time with my closest friends and with my parents, because these are the people that know me best and they always help me. Either they listen to me when I need to talk, or they take my mind off of things and we do fun things that help me do that. And I can be 100% myself with these people, and that also really helps when you're dealing with any kind of mental health issues. Something that really has an impact on my mental health if I don't do it is going for walks in nature. And something about like trees and mountains and lakes and stuff like that just makes me feel so in tune with myself and with the universe, if that makes sense. So that's something that I really enjoy doing, and I really notice when I don't do it, because I feel less like myself and I have a tendency to slip into old patterns again. So that's something that I really focus on doing on most days. Something that I don't get to do enough, but that I know helps me, is hanging out with animals and just being around animals. Just something about them is so calming, and again, you can be 100% yourself with animals and they're not gonna judge you. They're always gonna, they're always gonna be there, and they're just being themselves, and so can you. And that feeling is just really, really nice. Working out is something that I found has helped me a lot when I was dealing with my mental health issues, and even now when I deal with any kind of issues or I'm feeling down or anything. Working out and pushing myself hard in the gym just takes my mind off of things, and I'm able to focus on the feelings in my body. And for an hour or 2 hours, I focus on what my body's doing and what I'm feeling in my body and not in my brain. And so when I get out of the gym or I finish doing my workout, I always feel better and my mind feels relaxed and like it can take on the world again, if that makes sense. And something else I've discovered recently that helps me always is meditation and yoga. I don't meditate a lot, but I really, really should do it daily, because every time I meditate, I feel so much more like myself and like I can actually do things without my mind constantly drifting and worrying and stuff. And yeah, I don't know, just meditation and yoga in general make me feel like I'm connected to a higher force, like however you want to call it, whether God or the universe or whatever speaks to you. And it just makes me feel like I'm not alone and like I don't have to worry as much. So I know this video makes it seem like long distance relationships are horrible. They're not. It's just, this is a topic that I really, really wanted to talk about, because it's not all butterflies and rainbows when you're in a long distance relationship. And especially with more and more people dealing with mental health issues, I felt like it was an important video to make, because there is a few things that you need to be aware of, and everyone's gonna have different thoughts and different issues. I just wanted to share my experience with it, hoping that it might help someone. With that being said, I love my boyfriend and I'm really, really grateful that we are in a relationship, and you can definitely make a long distance relationship work despite it being difficult. Any relationship requires work, whether that's a long distance relationship or a relationship where you're both in the same city. It doesn't matter what type of relationship you're in, it's gonna require work, and that's okay. And that's also why it's important to talk about the difficulties, so that we can help each other deal with that and hopefully get through it together. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you want to share your experiences with me. I know it's not something that's easy to talk about, but I would love to hear about your experiences, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. I hope you have a great day. Bye!